There's nothing here. This weird ocean we're surrounded by just stretches out everywhere. Is this really where the Helganquil come from?
I don't sense even a trace of astral energy. This world is dead.
Then this must be the hollowing.
You mean to tell me this whole world, the entire ocean is that stuff?
And it's covering everything. The entire planet.
This is what the Great Spirit does. After it depleted this planet of every last speck of astral energy, it went after Dhana.
So arresting, this world of doom.
Back in its day, Rena was probably just as vibrant as Dhana is. But after being robbed of its astral energy for so long, those days are gone and past. This is all that will remain.
So the Great Spirit took everything. It stole energy not just from living beings, but the land, the sea, everything.
And it bound the Helganquil in servitude, until their whole world was nothing but this. And by the looks of it, that's how it remains to this day. A world of death and emptiness.
With nothing left here to consume, the Great Spirit turned its sights on Dhana, looking for another host.
You're saying if we don't stop it, this is what Dhana's going to look like?
We can be sure that even these few remaining remnants of Renan life will not be spared in the end.
If the oblivion and darkness both Shionne and Naori saw comes to pass, nothing will survive. It looks like we can climb down from there. Let's take a look.
So this is Rena. This is where everything began. Yet it's a dead world?
I won't let Dhana suffer the same fate, ever.
A hollowed ocean as far as the eye can see. What do you think would happen if we fell in?
What do you mean, what would happen? You'd drown, wouldn't you?
Come to think of it, I don't believe I've heard of someone ever trying. Perhaps you'd like the glory of being the first?
Nah, I'll pass.
This is essentially a world-sized Renan graveyard. Are you proposing to disturb the dead slumber just to satisfy your curiosity, Law?
No, because I said I passed.
Taking an interest is understandable, but let's not forget where we are. This place deserves our respect.
Looks like we're not going to be hearing the end of this one for a while.
You'd think I was already snorkeling in it or something. So the idea is to seal the Great Spirit inside the Renis Alma using the Sovereign and Maiden's power. But just how do we do that exactly?
I'm guessing it won't be as easy as holding a spirit channeling ceremony at our leisure.
I already had wielded astral energy once 3 centuries ago. As for suppressing her thorns, Shionne's had a lifetime's experience. The problem isn't just our enemy's strength. It's that it's sentient, too. And you can bet anything you like it's not going to just sit back and let us destroy it.
In other words, we need to find some way to weaken it in advance. The Great Spirit, that is.
Back when Shionne's thorns flew out of control, we were able to deal with them directly. If this is their host, they should be even more corporeal here.
If that's the case, it should make them easier to attack at least. And if we can manage to divert enough energy away from the spirit's core, even temporarily,
We might just be able to weaken it enough to steal the Renis Alma, which we can then use to seal it away forever. It won't be easy, but it's our only shot. Time to buckle up. Question for you. Let's say, knock on wood, everything turns out for the best.
What'll the world be like? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of this, do you really think everything will be that different?
A lot will have to change, that's for sure. The world will have to adjust to so much. My only worry is if those changes turn out to be merely skin deep.
what do you mean?
It's well and good putting an end to Renin rule. But if it just turns the tables, it's all for naught.
That's true. Just as bad if the Danans started pressing their own.
Renins, Danans, astral art users, mages. The world is full of labels used to divide and separate people.
If only we could see differences like that for what they are. No different as someone having a musical talent or being good with their hands. Not differences so much as characteristics.
It will take someone in power to set an example, but with time, people will follow. And then, perhaps one day,
There will no longer be any need for the example. It will have become second nature.
That's where we come in. We can set the example. Imagine it. A world where magic and astral arts are used to help people. Where that's the norm rather than the exception.
Yeah, you're right, Rinwell. Why wait for somebody else? We can show them ourselves.
Looks like we've warped into that pit of astral energy.
Helganquil!
Guess they don't need their Red Woman disguises anymore.
Wait, can you understand us?
It's no use. We're not going to get through to them.
So they really are being controlled. In that case, we've got no choice.
I knew there was something off here!
they're not pulling punches. We have no choice but to beat them at their own game.
They got me flanked!
An astral art?
That's my cue.
Shut him down!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Eat the flames! Blah, 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 blah.
Solo dance! I really owe you one. All finish you here now! Rising water! What is
You are in tip-top shape.
As soon as I'm done here, come help out.
How could a girl ever say no?
As impressive as always.
Ah, and here I hope that was improving.
No, you're even better than ever.
I've never seen Shionne actually look flustered.
No, can't end here!
Get toasty!
Bird strike!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss.
Swallow dance!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss.
I can carve through armor!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss!
Take this! Big blast!
Resuscitate! Lunar blast! Lunar blast!
Take this!
Severing wind! Talon hurricane!
Slice!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss! Resuscitate!
Crush!
You're bruised all over. Did you even notice?
Guess I got carried away.
I'm not always...
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade! See that?
That training's paying off.
Waterfall! Red! Steel!
Eternal
Take
Domination!
this one! Glacial Spear! Pierce Eagle! Now! Freeze Lancer! Astral Energy! Full throttle! A chain between heaven and earth! I'll heal you all! A wailing banshee of lightning! I won't give up!
It exploded?
Don't get caught in the blast!
Take no!
Arctic Waterfall! Annihilation! Nano Ray! Aqueous Surge! Here's the healing arc! Alright!
Eat this! I owe you one! Eternal Devastation!
Alphen,
I can't forgive them for what they've done, but I hate killing them. They don't even know why they're fighting. How does that even make them any different from the Dhana slaves?
Perhaps. However, if we don't make a choice, the guilt of not doing anything will be that much worse.
Yeah, I know. I hate for it to be like this. But if it happens again, you won't find me hesitating to act.
I wonder if we're going to get attacked again.
If we lose heart now, this whole mission is over. We have to stay.
I thought there'd be more dirt and rocks and stuff underneath the hollowed ocean, but it's all artificial.
I would imagine they're remnants left behind by the Helganquil, seeing as there's little actual land remaining.
It's incredible. Do you think it stretches all the way down to the center of the planet?
Hey, these guys built Lenegus, remember? They probably did this in a weekend.
If they had the power to create things like this, did they really only use those immense capabilities to serve the Great Spirit? Or rather, was that the only use the Great Spirit let them use their capabilities for? We haven't seen anyone here except Helganquil. Looks like this place really is their home planet.
The true citizens of Rena. What a shame that they have become nothing more than puppets to the Great Spirit. To think of the promise their accomplishments once held. They had the potential to be great indeed.
Do you think we could have got along with them? You know, if we had met under different circumstances. Like
all of us, you mean? I suppose it's difficult to say for sure. We don't even know if they would see us as being on an equal level with them or not.
I think we may have had the chance once, before the Renin Great Spirit came along and changed everything.
You and Alphen both share an optimism. A strong willingness to believe in hope.
Do you think that's foolish?
On the contrary, I should like to take a leaf from your book myself. In tragedy's aftermath, hope is all we have.
Just look at the size of that thing. The Helganquil's technology certainly is impressive. And they don't seem to do things by halves either. In the past 300 years. No, even before that. Just how many people, Renin or Dhana, do you think have ever seen this?
Regarding the past 3 centuries at least, I'd say there's a good chance that we're the first. Also, while I get that it's impressive and all, I'm just amazed you're still standing around gawping at it at a time like this. Sometimes I wonder about your priorities.
I can understand where he's coming from. More to the point, does anyone know where it leads?
What do you mean where it leads? To the center of the planet, of course.
And that doesn't strike you as sounding just a little bit, oh, I don't know, far? There has to be a quicker way to get there, right?
Yeah. With all this technology at their fingertips, it seems pretty unlikely that they'd make that kind of journey on foot. There must be some kind of device somewhere. Let's see if we can figure out how to use it.
Borrow one of their contraptions? You're either brave or out of your mind.
If it works for them, there's no reason it wouldn't for us. Why make things harder for ourselves?
You know what he's like, Law. Once he gets an idea in his head, there's no talking him out of it.
A six-armed giant. Is this the Zoogle from the request?
It's not only alive, but completely uninjured.
We'll just have to see for ourselves if it's really as ferocious as they say.
Is this a dead end?
It appears this whole room functions as an elevator. That apparatus there is likely what's used to control it.
What do you think this place was for? Ah!
What the hell? Are they asleep?
No. They appear to be well preserved. However, they are all dead.
Dead? So this is a mass grave?
Looks that way. However, none of them appear to be Helganquil.
Bear in mind that Renans were originally Dhanans, who were remade and sent to live on Lenegis. Knowing that, they would have needed a place to perform the procedure somewhere.
And that place is here, I assume.
So what you're saying is that all of these are Dhana, or rather, Renan bodies?
Most likely, yes. It must have been abandoned for one reason or another.
There are so many of them. They were all taken away, but never given the chance to wake.
What is that thing?
Something we have to fight if we want to get across, it seems.
Be careful! It's huge!
What is with all the huge lumps? Very deep lately.
It's no ordinary Zoogle. That much is damn sure.
Watch yourself. All bets are off when it comes to this thing. Now or never. Ignite!
Eat this!
Sleep now.
Struck! Eternal devastation!
My drinking orb.
Incineration wave! Eternal devastation!
I never miss. There you go. Don't let up.
Far enough!
You're mine!
I can carve through
Blue
it
is
just
getting
getting
started!
started.
Its head is its weak point?
Need to bring it down somehow to hit it.
In that case, let's... Start with the one in the middle.
For that!
I really owe you
I'll
one.
bring you
Eternal
back from
devastation!
I'm on it.
Incineration wave!
Resuscitate!
You're mine!
Here's a healing art! I still got to fight.
Stardust!
Heal!
ready and ready.
It looks like you got this one covered. Here's a healing arc.
Thanks, Shionne.
Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry. I'll do
Take
better.
this. Eat this. Talon hurricane.
Arcs require complete focus. Hold on to your arc. Here I come.
Burn in hell.
Healing
Eat this.
Thanks for the healing.
Watch yourself, okay?
Yeah. You too.
Incineration wave. Here I come. Bring right. Soda.
Let the marksman handle this.
Talon
I never
hurricane.
finish. A chain between heaven and earth.
Swallow dance.
A wailing dancy of lightning. Divide state. One more time. By the power of one.
May be strong,
A
but I'll
chain
never
between
back
heaven
down.
and earth.
This one.
I'm going to use a wind. The power
Power
of lightning. Do it.
Look sharp. Lightning Tiger Blade.
Let me show you what my arc can do.
Swallow down.
Natural energy.
Soda. Hurricane. Force blast.
Resurrection.
Slice. Soda. Super swallow dance. Rising Phoenix.
Supernova. Illuminate the sky. Come forth, holy glimmer. In here. More for the sky. A blah 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 magic. Divine blade.
Now I'm real mad.
They're not playing around.
What's this?
Lightning condemned. In here.
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Perhaps now isn't the time?
I really don't.
A chain between.
I'm just getting started. Lost my focus.
If it's in the sky, it's mine. Divine savior. Far beyond the darkest sky, I call upon thee.
Double Demon Fang. Dragon Shell. Demon Fang.
Sleep now.
Double Demon Fang.
More for the sky. Far beyond the sky.
Throbs in pain.
Demon Fang. Eagle Fly.
That move.
Just getting started. Here comes a big one.
Too much to handle.
Armor won't save you.
Let me
Take
show you
this.
what my arc can do. Rise and shine.
Eat this. Perfect Slash.
Resurrection. Far beyond the darkest sky, I call upon. Take care.
Water.
Poodle.
Stay away from my friend.
I'll bring you back to this.
Almost there.
Or close enough. Take it away, Law.
I thought you'd never ask.
That's gonna smart.
This one's mine.
Radiant
Take
Heal.
this.
Lightning. Downfall.
Now you see what I can do. Incineration wave.
Amazing.
Do it. Astral energy.
Say no more. The hell was that thing?
Probably something that was made here and somehow managed to survive, even after all this time. Not that there's any way of knowing now.
What's wrong?
Oh, I just suddenly found myself contemplating what might have happened to the sovereigns that were meant to emerge from the crown contests.
What do you mean?
You see, the winners of the past crown contests were all strong astral arts practitioners. Furthermore, that enemy we just fought appeared to be composed of several human bodies. It was certainly nothing one would find in nature.
You're saying those were the remains of the winners? That they forgot who they once were?
I'm merely saying it's a possibility.
That's absolutely gruesome. How long had the Helganquil been at this?
It was Rena's great spirit that made them do all of this. Anything to get its astral energy.
We're not gonna jump down, right?
I certainly hope not.
After hearing Donru's suggestion, I'm honestly not sure what to say.
I assure you all, I was merely stating the possibility.
So, looks like the Helganquil have been engineering Zeugles too. Why doesn't that surprise me at this point?
The creatures we've been encountering here have been a little different to what we're used to fighting, but I'm pretty sure they're Zeugles too.
Do you think they were engineered using creatures native to the area?
Indeed. However, based on the current circumstances, I would guess these Zeugles are all that's left of the planet's fauna now.
You mean, There might have been native owl species here once upon a time too.
We're back in that other room? Did the teleporter fail or something?
Something feels off about it.
Look! Everything's upside down!
The furnishings are at least. No, you're right. The whole room's flipped on its head.
So what was once down is now up, and vice versa. I suppose the teleporter reversed our orientation then.
I guess this is the flip side of that pathway we were walking on just a little while ago.
This is crazy. Who knew such amazing technology existed?
Everything's topsy-turvy and that's all you can think about?
Bear in mind, the core of Rena now sits above us.
I won't forgive you.
Almost there! Finish you here and now!
Illuminate the door! Come forth! Holy this one's mine! Holy lit!
Take this! Now I'm in the groove!
Mega ray!
Amazing.
Bang
Right back at you!
Infernal torrent!
Burning strike!
Burn in hell!
Lightning condemned!
See what happened there is you crossed me. Shouldn't have done
Seal!
that.
Freeze lancer!
Anything in
Holy
order is all
lit!
mine! Throwing light spear!
Blah, blah,
Eat
blah.
this!
Thanks, Shionne.
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Darkest sky!
Sword red alpha! Blow away! I can carve through. I'll finish you here and now!
What my art can do! Run, Guardian! The darkest sky!
In a bind, eagle thigh!
Resurrection! What would I do without you?
Burn in hell! Now I'm in the groove!
Shooting star! Illuminate the fire! Holy lance! Burning strike!
Now, while it's freely!
Take it down! Beyond the darkest sky!
Prepare to be freed! Take this!
Shooting star!
This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Now you see what I can do!
Leave it to you!
Hear my call! I call upon thee! Frost and wind! Where are you going? Mega ray! Shooting star! Chain explosive charge! Burst! I'll heal you all! A chain between heaven and earth!
Burn!
A wailing
By me.
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Perhaps now isn't the time?
I really don't.
Prepare to be sealed!
Out of ammo! Back into the fray! Far enough! Lightning condemned! Mega ray! Madly condemned! Outstanding form! Hit! Go get him!
Explosive ray!
Explosion!
Finish it!
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
I can feel my precision improving.
What are those? They look like Shionne's thorns, and with flowers too.
Not real ones, though. They're just like that flower growing out of Rena.
We must be getting close to the Great Spirit now.
Hey, Rinwell, what was that thing you said about how a little bit of Dhana's Great Spirit is inside all of us?
Right. That's why Dhana's Great Spirit is so much more diluted. Weak, even. Whether it was a choice so it didn't overpower others, or just the way it is anyone's guess.
If that's true, then wouldn't it mean Dhana's will could never form under natural conditions?
Yeah, sounds like that's probably the case.
So if Dhana exists within all of us, then what if something occurred that brought everyone's hearts and minds together as one? That unity could potentially act as Dhana's will.
You mean if everybody was, like, thinking the exact same thing at the exact same time? Come on, there's no way we could pull that off.
I know it's a long shot, but it might work.
Let's assume that's even possible for a second. Would it even be enough to fight back against Rena's Great Spirit?
If nothing else, it might be an option if we can't use the Renis Alma.
Things are different here than on the surface.
That shows how deeply we've ventured into Rena.
And how close we've come to the real enemy.
So here's a question. We came all this way to Rena on the assumption the Renis Alma's here, right?
Don't say it, Law.
Yeah, but I'm just saying...
I said don't.
I can understand why you might be concerned, Law. But you need to remember that there are people it affects more directly than you.
Oh, sorry.
We've managed to make it this far believing. Losing faith now won't do us any good. We're better off focusing our anxiety elsewhere.
Such as?
The Great Spirit. If Hevracht 35's to be believed, our enemy won't just be handing over the Renis Alma to us. At least, not without a fight.
Not only that, but that same enemy just gulped down more than an entire world's worth of astral energy.
Point taken. It may be strange to say, but when I'm fighting, or at least know what needs to be done, it helps me a lot. I don't doubt myself as much. So thanks, both of you. The floor's on the ceiling and the ceiling's on the floor. This whole thing's making my head spin. Why would they even do something like this?
The Helganquil can bend life forms to suit their will. Nothing they could do at this point would surprise me.
The ceiling is on the floor. That doesn't weird you out?
What good is a team made up of members who all share the same opinions on everything? And besides, when you get to be at my ripe old age, one begins to consider it quite uncouth to show one's true emotions at times.
Oh, come on, Grandpa. You can't be that old.
The sands of time wait for none of us, lad.
Yeah, we'll see. Though at this rate, I guess I'll have to live long enough to get as old as you first, huh?
You will. And when the time comes, I look forward to hearing you change your tune on the matter.
I won't forgive you!
Win!
Dragon Shadow!
Ha! Radiant Monster!
I'm on a roll now!
Rising Phoenix!
Hurricane! I'll be flanked!
They may look cute and stuff, but they're vicious! Freeze, Lancer!
We got fire!
I've got this! Let a marksman handle it!
All yours!
We got the advantage!
Good! Just have to make sure we keep it. An astral art?
That's my cue!
Shut him down!
Hit! Go get him! More where that came from!
Finish
Freeze,
it!
Lancer! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alvin!
It's time to end this battle!
I'm right beside you! Watch this! Radiant Pierce! Celestial Alabama Attack!
We did it!
As impressive as always.
Now I'm real
I
mad!
hoped I was improving.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
I've never seen Shionne actually look like this.
Magic is there! Freeze Lancer! Reload! Eagle Gun! You get the deadly! Not on my watch! Pierce! Illuminate the dark! Come forth! Holy glimmer! Holy lamp! Banish without a trace! Here goes! One last one! Hit! Bullseye! Freeze Lancer! Here goes! Do it! Bullseye!
I'm on it!
Lightning!
A hard-won victory. The Zoogles here are putting up a real fight.
That just goes to show how important this place is.
Or perhaps they simply thrived freely here under such harsh conditions.
I don't give a damn why they're here. We'll burn it all.
The astral energy here is so dense. It's like trying to walk through water.
I know the Great Spirit's will is in the center of Rena, but with the world in this state, the entire planet has become its body, right? So doesn't that mean we're already inside it?
I would say that is horrifyingly correct. After all, the further we climb, the denser the astral energy becomes.
What's the matter, Rinwell? Are you not feeling all right?
No, it's nothing like that. It just feels like the energy here is a little more intense than it was before.
You mean Rena's energy?
Yeah, it's like when I made contact with Dhana's will in the wedge. It's almost as though I can understand what Rena's will is thinking.
But Rena's will is supposed to be a lot stronger. Aren't we risking the Great Spirit controlling us if we interact with it directly?
I don't think we have to worry about that. Rena's will is only supposed to control true Renans, like the Helganquil. If we can discern what the Great Spirit is thinking too, we might learn something, a weakness. But just to be safe, let me contact it alone.
Are you insane? Rinwell, you're gonna...
Rinwell!
There was only meant to be one world. And your goal is to make them one. Is this fear? What just happened?
Are you all right? Rinwell? Rinwell, are you okay?
No, I'm fine. I think.
What were you thinking? You could have gotten yourself killed!
He's right. You had us all terrified, Rinwell.
I'm sorry. I really am. But I know now. I know how the Great Spirit thinks. I know what it wants, how it feels. Rena's Great Spirit wants to complete the world.
What's that supposed to mean? Are you saying it's trying to make something?
Yes, exactly. Originally, Dhana and Rena were meant to be one world. But that never happened. They've stayed separated, and the Great Spirit wants to finish the process.
What do you mean, one world? How is that even possible?
I don't know, but its will is clear. That's what the Great Spirit is trying to accomplish. The only problem is that since Rena's energy isn't evenly spread like Dhana's, it seems like it'll vanish before that happens naturally.
So it's trying to absorb Dhana while it still can, so that it can force the two planets to unite. Is that what you're saying?
The Great Spirit is scared. But it's not scared the way a rational person would be. It's more raw and undiluted, like just pure fear.
Like an animal, acting out of instinct. Although, admittedly, an animal would be easier to communicate with. At the very least, I have my doubts that it recognizes us as sentient beings with a reason for coming here. Earth, water, fire, and wind energy exist in both worlds, but only darkness and light can be found within Rena and Dhana, respectively. The Renis Alma, as far as we know, the only host capable of harvesting the astral energy, is composed of all 6. Knowing all that, Rinwell's findings do sound plausible.
That sounds a lot like Shionne's thorns, doesn't it? The whole reason the Great Spirit is trying to unite Dhana and Rena into one world is in order to save itself. And if her thorns are part of the Great Spirit, then they must also be trying to save themselves?
Alphen, what is it?
We thought the only way to free your thorns was for you to die. Yet despite that, they seem to be doing everything in their power to stop that from happening to you. Something wasn't adding up. But then I just realized something. If the Great Spirit doesn't want to die, then neither would your thorns. Those same emotions, that fear, that determination, and its energy must have been the same thing that was keeping you alive. You were its vessel.
In that case, is that why her thorns caused so much pain to anyone who touched her? Because they were trying to protect themselves?
If that's all true, then... well, it's more than a little ironic.
The Great Spirit merely expresses its desires. I imagine it was the Helganquil who were likely tasked with putting together and implementing an actual plan.
Shionne.
I'm okay. We need to hurry and clean this mess up before it gets out of hand.
Still, even if the current state of the world is wrong like you said, does that really make everything okay?
If the world had been whole from the start, as it should have been, there'd be no Dhana and no Rena, no masters or slaves, no lords, no crown contest, maybe just peace.
To think, all this started because of the Great Spirit's desire to keep living. The only reason it craves energy is because it's dying from starvation. When you think about it like that, maybe the things it's done aren't so strange after all.
If Rena had been more like Dhana, things would have worked out a whole lot better.
It's like Hevrecht 35 told us. The Dhanan and Renan spirits are meant to be completely different beings.
Rena's energy amassing in one place led to its developing a powerful will. But that also made it crave energy, sapping Rena dry until it perished.
Whereas Dhana's energy is dispersed, meaning its will never developed to the same extent. And without that hunger, Dhana the planet was spared.
As for which is correct, well, I'm not sure it's our place to even say. Still, I can't help but think it reminds me a lot of the dichotomy of the human condition.
Dichotomy? What do you mean?
Those who know not satisfaction are driven to keep devouring without limit. But those who are content with their lot in life rarely fulfill their potential. I imagine it's likely that the larger Rena's Great Spirit grew, the more and more powerful its hunger also became.
Everything in moderation. When all's said and done, maybe that's the hardest thing for people to learn.